Did you ever hear the tragedy of Battlefront 2: The Selfless? No? I thought not. It's not a story EA would tell you. It's a DICE legend. Battlefront 2 was a game so powerful and so bold, it single-handedly destroyed the video game industry's favorite scam. It had such a piece of shit loot box system, it even got governments of the world together to get loot boxes out of games completely. It actually got loot boxes out of the industry. Monetization is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Well, what happened to it? It was so egregious. The only thing the publisher feared was losing their income stream, which eventually, of course, they did. Fortunately, the developers at DICE actually cared about this game. They came swooping in like a mother bird, giving mouth to their creation and resuscitating my beloved video game from the ashes. It's ironic. EA could save Battlefront 2 from death, but not their reputation. Is it possible we'll get Battlefront 3? Not from EA. Star Wars Battlefront 2 has absolutely blown up over the last week. It broke its own player count record on Steam, then proceeded to shatter that record several times over again a few days in a row. Former devs have since come out talking about their ideal vision for Battlefront 3. We've got massive gaming channels like Moist Critical and Dr. Disrespect getting in on the hype. I guess everyone's a Battlefront channel now, and I'm here for it. Any and all attention this game gets is more than deserved. I actually wanted to talk about why I think it deserves to be both successful and appreciated, because we may have forgotten that this game is a major reason why publishers changed the way they monetize their games. When Star Wars Battlefront 2 launched in November of 2017, it was met with some of the worst criticism a AAA video game has ever received. Loot boxes were made a core aspect of the game's design, and microtransactions were heavily encouraged. The crates had a chance to drop the star card upgrades that we can now just unlock through progression, and because the game wanted you to buy crates, there was a perceived pay-to-win element. Then there's the fact they paywalled some of the most desired heroes like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader behind a grueling credit grind. All these new players have no idea just how good they have it. The standout moment at launch was EA trying to explain why they paywalled these heroes, which earned them the literal world record for the most downvoted Reddit comment in the history of the website. And that record still stands today. 667,000 downvotes, and the runner-up isn't even close. I hope they felt a sense of pride and accomplishment from that. The worst part was that Battlefront 2 launched with a progression system that was strictly tied to these loot crates. The way they designed it, the unit levels went up if you pulled their respective cards from the crates, with each card level translating to a unit level. If you pulled a level 4 card for Luke Skywalker, then he leveled up by 4, but there's no guarantee you would pull any cards for Luke. The progression in Battlefront 2 was actually based on random chance, which is some next-level brainless game design. Want to level up Darth Vader? Well, too bad, you shouldn't have gotten unlucky. Battlefront 2's launch was such a disaster, it got the feds involved. Actual governments around the world started talking about it and debating the ethical and moral implications of literal gambling in video games.
Do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games? Kerry?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
whatever term you wish to apply to them. Do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics. But I think it's important to look at this. This is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises, and so it's something that's been part of toys for years. Whether it's Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL surprise, we do think the way that we have implemented these kind of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable to people.
So just to be absolutely clear, your loot boxes or surprise mechanics, you have no ethical qualms whatsoever with?
So I think you're recharacterizing my language. What I said is I think the way we've implemented our FIFA Ultimate Team packs is ethical.
Okay, other than FIFA and other games that you provide, are you equally comfortable and relaxed about
For
it?
all of the games we have on the market that have a randomized content mechanic, a surprise mechanic, a loot box, I have no qualms.
This from Wikipedia. The player reaction to Battlefront's loot box system led to the Belgian Gambling Commission to evaluate the nature of loot boxes, specifically in Battlefront 2. In the United States, it generated legislative debates about a potential sales ban within Hawaii and some other US states. EA has stated that they do not consider the approach of loot boxes in Battlefront as gambling. Of course they don't, as it's strictly an optional feature. But then it goes on to say, in April 2018, EA's Patrick Soderlund stated that the loot box controversy over Battlefront impacted the company significantly, which included a reorganization of executive positions, and that for games that come next, Battlefield or for Anthem, players have made it very clear that we can't afford to make similar mistakes, and we won't. Battlefront 2's loot box controversy was so big that it actually influenced governments around the world. As of now, loot boxes are flat out banned in Belgium and the Netherlands, and other countries like China have strict regulations on transparency and pricing. Australia requires games that have loot boxes to have a mature rating, and other countries can't even agree on whether they fall under the category of gambling or not. There's currently no laws in the United States against loot boxes, but there have been several bills floated by lawmakers to restrict them, and it's a conversation that's still being had today. The fact it's even become a legal matter is huge, and it definitely didn't begin or end with Battlefront 2, but its cannonball of a launch absolutely made the biggest splash. It got actual governments in on the conversation, and there's been real legal consequences because of it. With this kind of international attention on the issue, I've noticed video game publishers take a huge step back from that style of monetization. The random chance mechanics don't show up too often in full-price AAA titles anymore. They're still out there, but fewer and further between. As a result of the heightened criticism and regulation in late 2017, many developers and publishers have pulled loot boxes from their games. Such games include Battlefront 2, Dauntless, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, Forza Motorsport 7, and Rocket League. Others have adopted other monetization schemes that eliminate the random elements associated with loot boxes, such as challenge-based battle passes. Other games have kept loot boxes, but altered how they can be purchased or their mechanics to eliminate some of the randomness and gambling attributes associated with them. There has absolutely been a shift in how the gaming industry monetizes video games, and we 100% have Battlefront 2 to thank for it. It was sacrificed at the altar, taking a lightsaber of destiny straight to the gut so that we can play and enjoy video games without a literal in-game casino trying to get you to spend, baby. The industry desperately wants to hold on to this form of monetization. They'll try to relate it to things like Kinder Surprise eggs or trading card games and opening booster packs. Boosters have low pull rates for rare cards, and a loot box is no different, right? Except when you get a physical product like trading cards, and this is just my opinion, you're actually getting value from that. Even if you open a pack and you get trash pulls, they still make excellent bookmarks. Not to mention, when you open booster packs, there is a guarantee of specific cards from whichever set you're opening, and most packs these days guarantee some kind of a foil or a rare card. Loot boxes and their contents don't have any guarantees. Pull rates are usually comically bad to keep players opening and buying more, and it's a virtual item that doesn't hold any intrinsic value. There is certainly the illusion of value, though. The industry capitalized on this model, and it's been extremely lucrative, so it makes sense why they don't want to let it go. We started seeing loot boxes in everything, and the profits these publishers and game companies were making was plenty to convince them that they had a winning model. It was great for their bottom line, but not so great for their customer base, and eventually it caught up with them. Enter Electronic Arts, who just got a little too ambitious with Battlefront 2. Like Icarus before them, they flew too close to the twin suns on frail wings of vanity and wax, and they ended up melting customer goodwill when it came to surprise mechanics. Loot boxes will probably always exist, especially in free-to-play mobile titles, and to be honest with you, I'm way more lenient about them when it comes to free-to-play games. They need a form of income, and being free to play, they're not making money on sales, so loot boxes are a good way to make that revenue. The big issues pop up when a game is fully priced that still tries to nickel and dime players without any guarantees or intrinsic value, and that's the model that dominated the industry in the mid to late 2010s. That's what we're seeing less and less of. Loot crates will still be a thing because we can't ignore the human element either. Let's face it, we love getting that dopamine rush when we pull a rare or valuable item from our booster packs or loot crates. It feels great, and it's fun opening a lot of packs just to see what you pull. Hell, I play the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. I love opening booster packs, and even watching pack opening videos, but again, with a physical card game like that, you get certain guarantees. It's not quite the same with virtual items that only have value in that virtual world, value which, by the way, is entirely subjective at best and deceptive and fraudulent at worst. This is all part of a larger conversation in video games where publishers are spending way too much money during development and then trying to recoup those losses with surprise mechanics or an in-game store or some other form of monetization on top of initial sales, in a game where it's simply not appropriate. Development's expensive, I'll give them that, but that shouldn't be weaponized against the player as a justification for needing to pay extra for an experience they should be getting right out of the box. EA learned this the hard way with Battlefront 2, and my tinfoil hat theory is that that's a major reason they decided to abandon the Battlefront franchise. Little did they realize they actually had a killer game underneath all the BS, and now the players are finding out in 2025. It's better late than never. I'm glad Battlefront 2 is getting all this positive attention because it's always been a great game. The launch was just so bad that stigma followed it around for years. The pay-to-win accusations never really went away. I've had people in my comments section refer to Battlefront 2 as pay-to-win even still, even though it hasn't been that way for a long time. What DICE was able to do for this game is nothing short of legendary, and I know the devs who were part of that original live team are looking proudly at this new wave of love for the Battlefront. It's so much deserved, and we cannot forget just how important this game was for the industry in general. Guys, thank you for checking out the video. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. If you liked it, force push that thumbs up button. And if you're new, I hope you consider subscribing for more video game content. That's all from me. This has been Star. Stay stellar. Keep shining, baby.